These are the 10 countries with the best social mobility. These are the 10 countries with the best social mobility. Welcome to the English Language Learning Podcast. You can find the reading to every episode in the description for the video on YouTube. Você pode encontrar a leitura. Todos os vídeos têm uma leitura. Pode encontrar na descrição, na página do YouTube, no canal. January 20th, 2020. Uf. 6 dias antes da minha filha foi nascido. 2 meses antes da pandemia pegou fogo. From Rosamond Hutt. Denmark tops the World Economic Forum's new Global Social Mobility Index. 17 of the top 20 most socially mobile societies are in Europe. The United States is 27th, while China is 45th, and India is 76th. Moving up the social economic ladder takes generations, but it happens much faster in some countries. Denmark ranks top of the World Economic Forum's new Global Social Mobility Index, which finds the 5 Nordic nations and parts of Europe outperform the rest of the world when it comes to giving everyone the chance to succeed. If you were born into a poor family in Denmark, it would take at least 2 generations to reach the medium income, or 3 in Sweden, Finland, and Norway. In France, it would take 6 generations and 9 in Brazil or South Africa. The index assesses the current state of social mobility in 82 economies around the world, looking at factors such as healthcare, education, social protection, access to technology, fair wages, and work opportunities. Some other takeaways. What was common among the Nordic countries? Well, they have high quality and equitable education systems, strong social safety nets, and inclusive institutions alongside job opportunities and good working conditions. What else? This is an economic model described as stakeholder capitalism. Stakeholder capitalism. In other words, one economy that takes into account the interests of all the stakeholders. That means the people, rather than corporate shareholders. Any other info on Brazil? Brazil, they estimated the economic opportunity cost because of the score on the list for each country. They do this for all the countries on the list. There's 82 countries. Brazil's economic opportunity cost per year in American dollars, $14.5 billion. Over 10 years, do the math, but over 10 years, an estimated $144 billion American dollars. Wasted, lost. That's the economic opportunity cost. $14.5 billion American dollars per year. Gone. Doesn't exist. Missing. Coming up next, all things English. These are the 10 countries with the best social mobility. This is the English Language Learning Podcast, where we read an article, we talk about the English, and then we have questions and conversation at the end about the topic, about the theme. Today's episode is about social mobility. We had a list on the World Economic Forum, and they made a list of 82 countries where they rank with social mobility. All things English. Let's start with social mobility. Social mobility. What does that mean? Mobilidade social. This is the ability for an individual, right? If we're doing this based on individuals, it is the ability or capacity of an individual to have a better a series of outcomes in their life compared to their parents. On another scale, this is on a larger scale, this is the ability for people and groups of people and different demographics to increase their position in society. So this is a social mobility, but it's about economics, it's about healthcare, it's about opportunities, it's about how much you get paid for your time. So it takes in different lists have different variables. As listas diferentes têm variáveis diferentes. This one, they tell us it's, well, we're doing the English here actually, but I guess social mobility is the vocab word. So they give us, was it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 factors? Healthcare, so saúde, ou oportunidade de receber serviços de saúde. Education, educação. Social protection, proteção social. Acesso à tecnologia, access to technology. Fair wages, remunerações justas, né? And work opportunities, oportunidades de trabalhar. So those are the factors that this list was focusing on. Other lists have other ways of measuring social mobility. To top a list, Denmark tops the list or the index. And this is the same as topar, right? To top a list is to estar no topo, to be on the top. We use top as a verb. To top the list. Denmark topped in the past the list. A ladder. I believe this is, at the top of the reading. Moving up the socio-economic ladder. A ladeira socio-econômica. So the thing, right? The infrastructure and the ways a country allows people to climb or sink, slide up and down their these different measures, right? Healthcare, education, social protection. To rank, we mentioned the verb to top. We also have a verb to rank. To rank, classificar, classificam. And this is in the top of the reading still. Denmark ranks top of the World Economic Forum's index. To rank is to classificar. Denmark ranks at the top. And you can rank at any position, right? I believe they give us others. U.S. ranks 27º, 27th. China ranks 45th, 45. India ranks 76th. What else do we got here? To outperform. To outperform. Not overperform, to outperform. This is in the same sentence as Denmark ranks. Finds the 5 Nordic nations and parts of Europe outperform the rest of the world. So to outperform is to do better. Superar, to do better relative to someone else. They're outperforming the rest of the world. They're doing better than the rest of the world. Equitable. Equitable. Equitable education systems. Sistemas de educação equitáveis. Or equitáveis, right? I don't remember in Portuguese the Q-U-I. Q-U-I. I don't remember how to pronounce that. I think it changes depending on if there's those 2 dots on top of the U. But I'm going to say equitáveis. Sistemas de educação equitáveis. So, different neighborhoods, different communities Are their children having the same or close to the same professors and facilities and sports teams and coaches and the same quality of bathrooms at school, the same protection from risk at school, the same classes? Do they have an English teacher in this neighborhood? Do they not in another neighborhood? So social equity in education, or equitable education systems. Equitable meaning more or less the same. The same. Alongside inclusive institutions, alongside job opportunities, ao lado, alongside, ALONGSIDE. A stakeholder, partes interessados. A stakeholder. Stakeholder capitalism was a term. You can Google this. Stakeholder capitalism. Capitalismo das partes interessados, which would mean people, not just corporation shareholders, right? Os donos de ações e corporações. Não só eles. Todas as pessoas. Crianças, até crianças. To take something into account. To take something into account is to levar algo em conta. Levar algo em conta. That is all. You might have more doubts, but leave a message, leave a comment if you got some. Moving on to questions and conversation about social mobility. Great start. These are the 10 countries with the best social mobility. That was the title. Well, actually, I'm not even sure if that was the title. That was the theme of the topic. We read from the World Economic Forum. You can find the reading on the description. Você pode encontrar a leitura na descrição, no canal do YouTube. Todos os vídeos têm na descrição uma leitura. We did the reading. We did the English. We even did some takeaways already. But now we have questions and conversation. At the end, we have, why do I think this matters to Brazil? Question number 1. What does social mobility make you think about? What does social mobility make you think about? Ok. O social... Ok. A mobilidade social te faz pensar. What does social mobility make you think about? For me, it makes me think about the word opportunity and left behind and privilege. Those are the 3 words. I guess maybe not things, but those are the topics, the words that come to my brain when I think of social mobility. And generational wealth, generational poverty. Why do those things exist if opportunity is distributed equally in a place where I'm from? This is different than Brazil, right? I was taught growing up the lie, not the reality. And the lie is easy. That it's a free country and everyone gets what they deserve. And if you don't have something, you didn't deserve it, and you don't deserve it. And if you do have something, well, you've done well. And the morality, don't question any of that. The opportunity for it, no. If you have it, you deserved it. And you shouldn't doubt that. So that is the lie, and that's what I think of with social mobility. Number 2, in your family, has anyone moved up or down on the socio-economic ladder? Se em sua família, se alguém avançou ou, how would you say go down? Subiu. No, that would be to go up. Desceu. Se alguém subiu ou desceu na ladeira socio-econômica. In your family, has anyone gone up or gone down on the socio-economic ladder? I would be going down. I was born in privilege because my parents had a good arrangement. They had a good. They supported me through their work and their labor, right? So I was born with privilege, and I will. There's almost a certainty I will never make as much money on a paycheck as my father did. I would never. It's just he's an attorney, he's a lawyer, and I teach English, and I teach English because he was a lawyer. If he had a different job and a different career, and our family were arranged differently, my values would be different. My sentiments, my world views would be different. How would be different? I don't know, but they would certainly be different. My opportunities, my privilege would be different. My position on the socio-economic ladder would be different. My friends would be different, and this is the point of the article. My neighborhood would be different. My healthcare would be different. My school would be different. So everything would be different if that one thing, that one detail, where was your family when you started your life? And my family was in one position, and their family before them, right? My parents were in a different position, not a great position, not an awful position in my mom's family, but my dad's family was very poor, poor immigrant mother with three, 4 kids, but living in a time where providing for your family was different. College, a university education, not necessary. My grandmother certainly did not have one. My father did, and I do. But what did the absence or the lack, a falta de formatura universitária para meu avô, how did that affect her? How did a university degree affect my father, and how has it affected me? All very differently. And when I say affect, I mean, how much did it cost to get a university degree? How did you pay for it? How did someone else pay for it? Did you get money from the government? What did it give you after you got it? What doors did it unlock or open because you got it? So all different things for 3 different generations in my Californian family. When you see that a country has good social mobility, when you notice, everyone kind of looks happy. I'm reading a list. Finland is always happy. Sweden is always happy. These guys are living pretty good. They all speak multiple languages. They all can travel. They all get vacation time. They all get maternity leave. They all get time with their family when a baby's born. They have, look at, they can go to the dentist when they need to, and they don't have to pay a shit ton of money. They can go to the doctor. They can get surgery. They got good schools. My goodness, what are they doing? And that's the question. When you see a country that has good social mobility, what assumptions do you make about that country's culture? Quando você vê país que tem mobilidade social bem ou bom, o que assunções você faz sobre a cultura desse país? Who or what do you think prevents any country from having good social mobility? And this is about what you think. O que você acha? Quem ou o que você acha previne qualquer país de ter uma mobilidade social bom? What is preventing? O que está bloqueando essa aumentação de mobilidade social? What is it? And I don't mean specific to Brazil or the United States or South Africa or Russia. No, I mean just generally. What are the forces or institutions or communities or just reasons that would prevent. Why is this not the most important thing for any government? Hey, we need people who are poor to do better. I'm asking the question, and I'm also thinking about the. I don't know. I mean, that should be the number one thing on the list for a country. Besides, maybe this is the answer to the question. Well, we need to protect our borders, and that is the international politics. Well, we need to have relationships, and how do we make relationships? Well, we got to make friends. How do you make friends? Well, you got to give things. You gotta accept that people want different things. And also we cannot assume that a government is made up of people who have good intentions, because clearly governments are full of people with many different motivations, and they have very different intentions, pretensões diferentes, né? And maybe that's why they become politicians. In your opinion, is social mobility a good or bad or neutral thing? Na sua opinião, a mobilidade social é bom, ruim or neutral? Do you hear your local, state, federal politicians talk about social mobility? Se você está ouvindo as políticas federais, estaduais, locais falando de mobilidade social. And I mean literally, do you hear people talk about or say the expression social mobility? Is that a topic that you are hearing coming out of the mouths of politicians, saindo da boca dos políticos federais, estaduais, locais? Está falando literalmente da mobilidade social. I think that's a good indication of their motivations. If they're not talking about social mobility, that's because they don't care. And if they don't care, it's because they have powerful, rich people that are funding their existence. Do you think, and this, I guess, is an obvious answer to the previous topic, but do you think anyone is actually against or opposed to increasing social mobility? Why or why not? Se você acha que qualquer pessoa está contra, opondo a aumentação de mobilidade social, por que sim ou por que não? What do you think? Who do you think? No, not who yet, but do you think anyone is actually against the idea that people who are in one position can die, in a slightly better position, but more that people's kids and children, when they are living their life and when they die, that they die in a better position than when their parents died, and so on and so forth, continuum. Do you think social mobility is a zero-sum game? And I don't know how to say this in Portuguese. Zero-sum game. Zero-sum, S-U-M, jogo de soma zero. Se você acha que a mobilidade social é um jogo de... I just forgot it. Soma zero. Ou não, que é possível que todo mundo está elevando, subindo a ladeira mobilidade social, econômica, socioeconômica. Or if some people go up, other people have to go down. Well, I'm not talking about what people, but just that's the nature of the game. For some people to get more healthcare, money, good education, opportunities, remunerações do trabalho. Alguém tem que perder educação bom, saúde bom, hospital bom, educação bom. Tem que perder isso. Alguém tem que sacrificar or doar these things for someone else to get them. I don't know the answer to that. I think the answer is yes. I think it is a zero-sum game, only in the sense that, yes, someone will have to give more because that's the nature of capitalism, The money is going somewhere, and it's coming from somewhere. Right now, it's coming from all of us, and it's going up to people who already have lots of it. That's kind of the whole theme, not only of the pandemic and the post-pandemic, but since 2008, since, go further back. But things didn't always work like this. The inequality is getting worse. Desigualdade está piorando. Né? Não começamos nessa situação. Não, chegamos nessa situação. So, I do think it's a zero-sum game, but I think that it's not a, hey, your child in your neighborhood needs to go to a different school or to a worse school, uma escola pior, para que minha filha pode ir a uma escola melhor. Não melhor relativamente a sua escola, mas relativamente a como minha escola foi no passado. Para melhorar, alguém tem que piorar. No, I don't think that. But I think economically, yes. Money has to come from somewhere to arrive somewhere else. But this is just the most basic shit. Take the money a little bit from the people who have way too much of it. People who are who have gold apartments. And I'm not exaggerating. Donald Trump has a gold-plated apartment. There are people who have yachts. Forget what type of yachts. People have yachts. People have cars that cost more than, than it costs for a poor person to get a set of clothes or a house or food in a community, right? I mean, if we broke down the luxury items and where we could allocate that money, actually, I've never seen this. I'm just thinking out loud. How much a yacht? How much could one of Jeff Bezos's yachts? I don't know if he has multiple. I'm assuming he has one. I'm assuming Jeff Bezos has a yacht. If I'm wrong, crucify me. But I would bet money I'm not wrong. How much? Man, this is a tough question, but how many schools could have teachers paid for a year? Or let's just choose one school. How long could we bankroll or fund a public school in the worst neighborhood by selling Jeff Bezos' yacht? Or by him not making it and just donating that money to one school? Rich people always say, you can't just take all the money in my taxes and fix world hunger. Well, can we try? Can we try that? Can each of you just do that one time for, one neighborhood, or just fuck it, just do one family? I would be interested in that TV show. Jeff Bezos is going to try and fix how much tax percentage. Como a taxa do capital do Jeff Bezos. Por quanto tempo ele pode fundar, I don't know, dar, remuneração de uma escola pública, só uma escola pública num bairro pobre. Por quanto tempo, quantas décadas, quantas gerações ele pode remunerar os professores, as facilidades, equipamento para uma escola de uma taxa de juros, uma taxa de imposto na capital dele. Ou mesmo, literalmente, se você se você doeu ou não criou, né, ou o que eu estou tentando falar, o preço do yacht, não sei como se iate, do Jeff Bezos, se você tira esse dinheiro do iate e colocou numa escola só, pública, em um bairro só, literalmente uma escola, por quantas gerações pode fundar ou remunerar o que precisa para essa escola funcionar? Final question. Have you ever heard of gentrification? Have you ever heard of gentrification? and I believe in Portuguese, the term translated, I don't know if this is correct, but gentrificação. E o que é isso? Gentrification is quando uma comunidade pobre tem uma influção de pessoas com mais dinheiro, com outra classe, de outro bairro, talvez de outro estado, ou talvez de outro país, entrando e mudando o bairro economicamente e também demograficamente, right? This happens in many places, in many different moments, and it can go up and go back. It can pode avançar e revertir. But overall, do you think this is a good thing or a bad thing for a community? Do you think gentrification, the idea that people with more money can come into a neighborhood with less money and, make it look nice? I don't mean make it better, but I mean, make a new store. Okay, one new store leads to a new restaurant. Maybe someone goes, oh, this is a nice neighborhood, I'm gonna put my restaurant here, and then another one, and then suddenly, a family looking for apartments, maybe because their neighborhood is too expensive, even though they have good money in most neighborhoods, their neighborhood is too expensive, so they move to a poor neighborhood, right? And slowly the poor neighborhood has more richer people moving in. As pessoas mais ricas estão invadindo, né, o bairro. E as pessoas pobres estão saindo, porque tem que sair para outra pessoa mudar dentro, literalmente da casa. Why do I think this matters to Brazilians? Brazil is let me start with this statistic, right? Brazil's economic opportunity cost per year, 14 billion American dollars. Over 10 years, 144 billion American dollars is the cost of having bad social mobility. Could be worse, could be better. Pode ser pior, pode ser melhor. Brazil is one of the global leaders in disparity, with the USA also competing for the top of this list of inequality. When a country faces prolonged inequality and hopelessness, well, history shows us what happens to these types of places. It's not good. And Brazil and the USA are both experiencing symptoms of this reality. Brazil has extreme poverty, hunger, and crime issues, and the USA has these, not in the same degree, but we have all of these, plus Nazism coming back. Why is Nazism popular? Well, because there are poor people, white people too. So it would be very, very stupid to not connect the dots, to not connect these symptoms and their driving forces. That is all. This is the English Language Learning Podcast. Please subscribe, inscreve, subscribe, leave a comment, a like, a dislike, whatever. Thanks for listening.